how many times in the society have you heard this phrase, essence of all scriptures? Probably countless times, right? We come across this phrase so many times. Where do we come across this concept, essence of all scriptures? You study Bhagavad Gita, someone will say, Bhagavad Gita is essence of all scriptures. What is the essence of all scriptures within Bhagavad Gita? Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, yes, it's accepted. If we go a little bit more deep, yep, that is also, those are all important verses. Yeah, see, Sarv Dharma Pratigya, so there are two verses which are considered the essence of all scriptures. Sarv Dharma Pratigya is considered an essence. 100 out of 100. So, sorry, 50 out of 100 for whoever said Sarv Dharma Pratigya. What is the difference between, so okay, both are accepted as essential verses, Sarv Dharma and Manmana. But there is a difference between the two. What is the difference? For which, no. For who is the essential verse Sarv Dharma Pratigya, and for who is the essential verse Man Mana Bhav Mat Bhakto?
Man Mana Bhav is for the devotee, and another one is all other categories.
Very nice. 100 out of 100. I don't want to use this 100 out of 100 all the time, correct? But anyways, yes, that is correctly. That is very correct. For someone who has not yet connected with Krishna, the essential verse in Bhagavad Gita is Sarv Dharma Pratigya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshashyami Mahasacha. That is the essential verse for them. But someone who has already become a devotee, for someone who has already taken shelter of Krishna and they're reading Bhagavad Gita again, a second time, right? A third time, a fourth time, the essential verse is not so much Sarv Dharma Pratigya because I've already done it, right? I've already taken your shelter. The essential verse is Man Mana Bhava Mat Bhakto Mat Yaji Mam Namaskuru. Right? Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer prayers unto me. Right? So, and similarly, we come across essence of scriptures in Bhagavatam as well. What is the essence of all scriptures in Bhagavatam? There are many different places where verses are referred to as the essence of all scriptures. But if you were to give me one, this is so important when we discuss this. So I'm leading to a certain point over here. So you might think, okay, where is this point leading? It's leading to a certain point. Someone might question, there are so many essence of all scriptures. Well, what is the essence of all scriptures? Right? So what is the essence of all scriptures in the Bhagavatam?
Is it from Gopi Gita?
One can pick it up from Gopi Gita as well. One very prominent shlok which is used as essence of all scriptures is the verse spoken by Sri Sutta Goswami in the first canto, Save Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radhokshaje. Yeah, perform unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service. Very commonly used. But actually there are many differences, many verses across Srimad Bhagavatam which are considered to be essence of all scriptures. And also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are many verses which describe the essence. You can start from a very basic level. Smartavya satatam Vishnu Vishmartavya na jatuchit Sarva vidhe nishedha shur etayoreva kinkara. You can start off from very basic, that always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And you can go to very advanced. The verse spoken by Ramananda Rai to Mahaprabhu at the height of describing what is the ultimate goal. And he says, In hara madhyam radhara prem. In hara madhyam, amongst all the loving affairs of the gopis, Radhara Prem is Sadhi Shiromani. It is topmost. It is most perfect. Yanahara Mahima, the glories of the love that Srimati Radharani has for Krishna, Sarva Shastra Makhani. All the revealed scriptures talk about this. So you can start from very simple and you can go to very advanced. So the difference in essence of all scriptures for devotees is the advancement of a devotee. At what level that devotee is. So the essence changes as well. If one person is just a beginner, the essence for you is different. If a person is very advanced, the essence for you is very different. And here we are studying the realizations of Parikshit Maharaj. We never got an opportunity to hear the realizations of Parikshit Maharaj. Sri Shukadev Goswami finished speaking the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj and then he left. And then Parikshit Maharaj passed away in Bhagavatam. But this is one opportunity we are getting to hear the realizations of Parikshit Maharaj. What is the essence for you, Parikshit Maharaj? So that we can aspire to it. so that we can learn something from it, right? This is the realization of Parikshit Maharaj. Can I get to it? Can I practice this? What do I need to do to get here? And so that is the motivation to study this essence of all scriptures. Well, I want to study what is the essence for you, Parikshit Maharaj, right? So that I can aspire to it. See, what are bhajans? What are Vaishnava bhajans? Vaishnava bhajans are essentially an aspiration. They are a prayer. Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami sings in Tulsi Aarti, Muraya Bhilash Vilas Kunjadiyo Vas. So Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Muraya Bhilash. It is my desire. It is my aspiration. It is my request. What is my request? Give me a small place to stay in Vrindavan. Give me some residence in Vrindavan. Right? Vilas Kunjadiyo Vas. What will I do in Vrindavan when I get there? Nayane Haribo Sada. I want to see what? Yugala Rupa Rashi. I want to see the pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Shri Krishna. Right? So this is an aspiration. Every morning we sing this prayer, Tulsi Aarti. Right? This is the aspiration of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So this is an aspiration. What is offering at time of Vyas Puja of our Guru Maharaj? What is that? That is also an aspiration. My dear Guru Maharaj, I'm trying to serve you, I'm trying my best, but there are so many shortcomings, there are so many faults in what I'm doing, But please, give me your strength, give me your Shakti, give me your power, so I can serve you better without making any mistakes, right? My dear Guru Maharaj, I hope you're healthy. I pray to Krishna that you remain healthy. What is it? It's an aspiration, right? We're not there yet, but we're asking for strength. Yes, we can do it in our mind, but that becomes impersonal. We are not following impersonal philosophy. We are following personal philosophy. So we personally, in front of the photo, we are trying to say that. It's an aspiration. Otherwise, someone will say, I say it in my mind all the time. That is impersonal. That is not personal. That will only get you so far. If we are personal, that will take us a little bit further. What are these sessions? These sessions which any speaker speaks on Krishna Katha, it is an aspiration. I probably cannot even follow 1% of what I said the last 2 weeks and what we are going to discuss today and next week. But what it is an aspiration. Someone might say, oh, Sanjay Vyas, he's an hypocrite. He's talking about humility, he's talking about being non-envious, but he's not humble. He's envious. And I would say, yes, my dear Prabhu or Mataji, you are right. I am a hypocrite. Right? I probably cannot even follow 1% of what I'm speaking. But there is one quality which exists which allows me to speak about this. And what is that one quality? That we are trying our best. I'm trying my best. And just because I'm endeavoring and I'm putting effort and I'm trying my best, I have the strength or I have the power to speak on these topics. Nobody can take away your effort. Nobody can take away your effort. You only know how much your effort is. Right? So that is all we are trying to do. Everything, any service that we do, it is an aspiration. It is not perfection. It is not a reflection of perfection. So whatever we are studying, we are hoping we can aspire to it. Right? So I hope this is beneficial in some way, this understanding of the essence of all scriptures, that we are trying to chase the highest essence. And over here, we are studying the realizations of Parikshit Maharaj. So, weekly schedule. So, last 2 weeks we covered part 1. Today we start part 2. I know originally I sort of said we'll go up until Saket Ayodhya today, but as I was preparing for today's session, I realized that there is just so much content that we probably won't be able to get to Vaikuntha today. And I thought it probably worked out for the better. What we will do is we will go up to Mahakalpura today, which is the abode of liberation or Sayujya Mukti, and then we'll start from Vaikuntha next week and we'll go all the way to Golok Vrindavan. So hopefully that change in schedule is a little bit okay. But even up until there, it is very interesting, and then I think Vaikuntha to Golok together would be a very nice topic to discuss together. So far so good. So part 2 is called Shri Golok Mahatmya. What was part 1 called? Shri Krishna Kripa Sara Nidhar, finding the essence of Supreme Lord's mercy. Part 2 is called Shri Golok Mahatmya, or the glories of Golok. So in part 2, there are two journeys that are taking place. There is a journey of Mathura Brahman, which goes from Prayag Jyotish to a city where he resides, to Vrindavan, and Gop Kumar's journey from Vrindavan all the way to Gokul. The two journeys are similar in one way, but they're also different in other ways. And we will discuss both of these journeys, and hopefully it will be of interest. Now, before we start part 2, couple of things. Part 2, just like part 1, is very repetitive as well in its nature. Gop Kumar visits one place after another. Every place he arrives, he thinks he has found his Lord of the universe. He becomes happy for a while, then something arises and he becomes unhappy. And then someone tells him that there is another place where you can find Lord of the universe and you'll be more happy. And this is a repetitive feature of part 2. Just like there was a repetitive feature in part 1. What was the repetitive feature in part 1?
That someone else who's better than.
Yeah.
Narad Muni is traveling in the previous one to find the best.
Yeah.
devotee.
Yeah.
And here now Gopal Kumara is traveling to find the best God, like
The best destination where he can best do service to his Lord. Yeah. But there are two things which are very common in this journey of Gop Kumar. Firstly, his surrender to his spiritual master, and secondly, his faith in chanting the mantra that he has been given. Now, because all of us are very familiar with these two qualities, I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but there are only two things that I will say. The first thing is that Gop Kumar did these two things very nicely, very meticulously. His surrender to his spiritual master was very good, and his faith in chanting was also very good. So that is one thing. And the other thing is, the focus is not so much on the mantra that is being chanted. The focus is more on the mantra that is being chanted, which has been given to us by our spiritual master, and the intensity and the motivation with which we are chanting it. So those are the two things. And there are many other things that we learn in this journey of Gop Kumar, which we will discuss as we go through it. Any clarifications so far?
Who is Gop Kumar?
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Yeah. Now, again, another thing before we start part 2 is the lens with which we read it. The lens is very important with which we approach something, to sort of reduce any doubts that we might have, and to also remove any assumptions we might have about the book. See, there are different destinations which fulfill desires of practicing devotees, and we'll come to those destinations like Vaikuntha, Ayodhya, Golok. However, this book demonstrates the journey of a very singular desire. And that singular desire is that I just want to perform some simple personal service unto my Lord of the universe. That is the desire that is driving this journey. And it is not necessarily a commentary on the shortcomings of various other destinations. So Gop Kumar does go to Vaikuntha, and he does go to Jagannath Puri, and he finds happiness there, but after some time he is unhappy. And the point is not that, oh, those places, there are shortcomings over there. That is not necessarily the lens. The lens is that we will see that Gop Kumar is just not able to perform the simple personal service in those destinations. There's opportunity to do service, but not the simple personal service that he wants to do. So who is going to be able to relate to this topic the most? Someone, Prabhu, आप आगे आ जाइए, अगर आप आना चाहते हैं. हरीश प्रभु, आप आगे. So, who is going to be able to relate to this book the most? A person who is aligned to this desire, that I just want to perform some simple personal service unto my Lord. If there's any other desire, like I want to perform opulent service or I want to perform service as a warrior, then there are other destinations. That destination is not necessarily Golok. So this is the lens with which we are studying part 2. Is that reasonable? Is that okay? So with that in mind, we will start part 2. So Jaimini Rishi has just finished narrating the essence of all scriptures to Janmejaya. And Janmejaya again does not want the katha to stop. So Janmejaya says, well, were there any other topics which were discussed? And Jaimini Rishi says, well, yes, another topic was discussed. That topic was Golok, a place very dear to Krishna. And given you are exhibiting all the qualities of a great devotee, perhaps it is fitting we can talk about that topic. And so Jaimini Rishi starts narrating the second question asked by Uttara Devi. So Uttara Devi, she has just finished hearing the essence of all scriptures from Parikshit Maharaj, and now she has another question. And she says, well, you have described to me 5 types of devotees. You have described to me Gyan Bhaktas, devotees who are doing some devotional service, but they also have desire for knowledge. Knowledge of what? Soul, super soul, Paramatma feature, the impersonal feature. They're still trying to gather knowledge. They're performing service, but they're still trying to gather knowledge. Gyan Bhaktas. And then you have described to me Shuddha Bhaktas, devotees who are performing service and they have no material desire. They are fully free from all material desire. So you have described to me Shuddha Bhaktas. Then you have described to me Prem Bhaktas. Prem Bhaktas are those devotees who are performing service but with love. They want some intimacy. They are performing service with enthusiasm. Those are Prem Bhaktas. Then you have also described to me Prem Para Bhaktas, devotees who don't care about service. They just care about Prem. Right? I just want to see Krishna, I want to have lunch with Krishna, I want to meet Krishna, I want to talk with Krishna. They just want everything to do with Krishna. Right? Then you have also described to me Prem Atur Bhaktas. Prem Atur Bhaktas are those who are always in a close relationship with the Lord. They experience different ecstatic symptoms in their relationship with Krishna. They're dancing all the time, they're singing all the time. They faint even when Krishna is there, thinking that Krishna will soon leave them. So they constantly experience some various ecstatic symptoms. And then you have also described to me the gopis, which are beyond all of these 5 categories. Right? So what are the 5 categories? If my speaking is putting all of you to sleep. Gyan Bhaktas? Shuddha Bhaktas? Then? Third is Prem Bhaktas? 5 Prem Bhaktas. For number 4? Prem Para. Prem Bhaktas. So quickly again. Gyan? Prematur. If we know it, we have something to aspire to. If we don't know it, how can we aspire to something? Right? So knowing is the first quality. Right? So I will ask this again at the end. And amongst other things. ठीक है मम्मी आपसे? So So Uttara Devi says, you have described to me all these different types of devotees, but I have one confusion. Do all of these devotees go to Vaikuntha? That is my confusion, because their relationship with Krishna is slightly different. So Krishna's reciprocation with them should also be different. So there should ideally be different destinations where one can experience a certain type of reciprocation with Krishna. So that is my question. Do all of these devotees go to Vaikuntha? Where do the gopis go? What is their destination? If gopis are going to Vaikuntha, then I will be slightly dissatisfied. I will be slightly discontent. because I would want Krishna to reciprocate with the gopis just according to the gopis' love for Krishna, right? Not with awe and reverence in Vaikuntha, right? So we are okay with the question from Uttara Devi? And Parikshit Maharaj says, well, you have asked a very nice question. Nobody has asked this question before. And I will tell you the answer to your question by narrating to you a small story. And so he begins to tell the story of a Mathura Brahman. And he says, once lived a Mathura Brahman in the city of Prayag Jyotish, which is a city that is believed to have existed in the past in the now northeast Indian state of Assam. And because his family was originally from Mathura, he is referred to as the Mathura Brahman. What his real name is, we will find out next week. And so Parikshit Maharaj says, this Mathura Brahman, he had no knowledge of scriptures and he desired a lot of wealth. Is this a desire we can all relate to? Desire for wealth? Personally, I think I can relate to that desire, being very ambitious as I was growing up, right? Money is such an attraction, right? Prahlad Maharaj says, Kwe na artha trishnam visrajet, who can give up artha trishnam? Trishna means desire, attraction for money. Who can give up the attraction for money? Pranebhyo piya ipshataha. Ipshata, it is more desired than one's own life. Money is so much more desired by a person. See, money, like many other things in our life, is a bit of both. It is an important necessity, but it is also an unnecessary attraction. And a devotee, a practicing devotee, is ideally an expert. They're ideally an expert in knowing what is the boundary between necessity and attraction, right? And so when they feel that I'm being pulled towards unnecessary accumulating more money, with great determination, they pull themselves back. No. I'm chasing after what I don't necessarily need. I have sufficient. So, asankalpaj jayate kamam. Asankalpaj, sankalp, with great determination, jayate kamam, you conquer lust. Krodham kama vivarjanat. With having controlled lust, envy, jealousy, you control anger. Arth anarth ikshaya lobham. Considering earth, wealth, to be anarth, not really one's true wealth, conquer lobh, greed. And bhaya tattva amarshanat. And by taking the side of tattva, truth, by taking the side of what is right, one conquers fear. So a devotee is ideally an expert in this. This is the practice of a serious devotee. Hare Krishna Mataji. But the Brahman at this stage, unlike all of you, does not have this level of discrimination, right? And he is chasing after wealth. And so he starts to pray to the goddess of that area, goddess Kamakhya. Kam means desire, right? So goddess of desire. And he is praying so sincerely that goddess Kamakhya comes into his dream and she gives him a mantra to chant, a Gopal mantra. And this Brahman, he starts to chant the Gopal mantra. Yeah? And in some time, looking for more benefit, he leaves his city. Looking for some benefit elsewhere, he leaves his city. All good so far? And he makes his way to Ganga Sagar. And so Ganga Sagar is a place south of West Bengal, Prabhu, where the Ganges meets the Bay of Bengal, right? And he goes over there and he meets many Brahmanas there. And the Brahmanas tell him, you perform your occupational duties. You perform your dharma, you perform your duty very nicely, and you will achieve everything. All your desires will be fulfilled. See, we come across this when Mahaprabhu meets Ramananda Rai. Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe, Pad Shloka Sadhyera Nirnay. This is how the conversation starts. Pad Shloka, just one line. Just very little. Tell me, Sadhyera Nirnay. What is the Nirnay? What is the decision of the revealed scriptures? Yeah? Rai kahe, Swadharma Charane Vishnu Bhakti hai. Ramananda Rai says, perform your duties, perform your job, very nicely, and that is Vishnu Bhakti. And Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe, Eyo Bhaya, this is external, Aage kahe aar. Tell me something more. So why is that the case? Why is performing occupational duties considered to not really give one true self-satisfaction? Why is that the case? It is so important to know all of these things. But of course, other people can add more to it. I only have a very preliminary level of understanding. So I will sort of say at a very junior level.
If it is a mundane thing, then it won't satisfy. But if it's connected to Krishna, then it will give some satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's still a material platform.
Yes, still material platform. If you go a little bit more, Prabhu, yeah. What is the problem? Even if you perform occupational duties for Krishna, why is it? What is lacking in it?
It's not going to relieve you from the cycle of birth and death.
It won't relieve you from the cycle of birth and death.
It is not unalloyed.
It is not unalloyed. It is not exclusive.
There is an element of
Yeah.
attachment to material.
Attachment to it, material as well. Yeah.
It's not done for the pleasure of the Lord.
It is not done for the pleasure of the Lord. Yep, it is.
It is not the eternal occupational duty of the soul.
Yep, it is not eternal occupational duty of the soul as well. Yeah. So yes, there are all of these elements. It is not eternal. It is slightly self-oriented as well. But there is another reason why performing occupational duties will just not help in this age of Kali. Now I've given you a hint in Kali Yuga.
Just remember one shlok, Hare Rama, Hare
Huh? Yeah. We'll come to chanting as well. See, the challenge is, Srila Prabhupada explains this, and he says it is actually impossible to perform your occupational duties in Kali Yuga. There is so much duplicity, there is so much competition, there is so much politics in the age of Kali that one can actually not perform occupational duties in the mode of goodness which is required so that one can attain Lord Vishnu. So it is actually not possible to perform occupational duties correctly. So any person who's saying you perform your dharma, you perform your occupational duties, one has to say, well, I am performing it, but I just cannot perform it necessarily in Shuddha Sattva Guna, in mode of goodness. So that is one of the major limitations of performing occupational duties, amongst everything which all of you have raised, which all the realizations will come to as we go through this journey of Mathura Brahman and Gop Kumar. So far so good? Is that alright? Yeah. So, because this Brahman was chanting, his journey was also being shaped by Krishna. And so he realized that this is not necessarily going to help me. They are telling me to perform occupational duties. There is no way I can perform these occupational duties in the way that they want me to perform, just because all of the various factors of Kali Yuga. And so he moves on. And the next place he goes is Kashi. Kashi, as we know, is the
Lord Shiva.
Yes, Kashi is a place belonging to Lord Shiva, and Kashi is Mayavad capital. Yeah, is Mayavad capital of the universe. We studied how Lord Shiva is in charge of spreading Mayavad philosophy, because to trap the jivas in this universe. Now, what is Mayavad philosophy?
They deny the personal form of the Lord.
They deny the person.
And they are envious of Krishna.
They're envious of
And
Krishna.
they think that Krishna is actually a product of Maya.
Yep. Krishna is product of Maya. We are all product of Maya. Yeah.
And they think they themselves are actually God as well.
Yeah. Exactly. As Prabhu has said, I'll just rephrase slightly, but exactly all the elements which Prabhu has said. The Mayavad philosophy is that anything happening in my control or outside of my control is being directed by a divine consciousness which is permeating all around us. And the name of that consciousness is
Brahman.
Brahmana. The name of that consciousness is Brahman, right? And so everything is Brahman. You are also Brahman, and this Brahman is God. And because you are Brahman, you are also God, right? And it is considered offensive. And it is considered offensive because, exactly as Prabhu said, it denies the personal form of Krishna. If I were to say that Hari Gopal Prabhu, you have no individuality, you do not even exist, you are part of this ether, would you like it? How can you say this? How can you say I don't exist? I'm an individual person, I have emotions, I have feelings. Krishna has feelings, Krishna has emotions. So Krishna doesn't like when someone says, oh, you don't have individuality. Who's going to like it? Ujjwala's Mataji? Right? You have no individuality. No, it's not a very nice thing to say, right? So that is why Mayavadis are considered very offensive. We don't like them very much. It's not a very nice thing to say. But it is also a very sweet philosophy, right? Because even though they say that you're not an individual, who does not like to hear everything is God? You are God. Somehow or other you have just forgotten that you're God. And if you meditate long enough, if you think about it long enough, if you practice it long enough, you will just realize that you are in control. Everything is in your control. So this philosophy is so nice to hear as well, right? Who does not like to hear that? And so they say, so you keep on meditating, Soham, I am. But we know,
Am Brahmasmi.
Ambham Brasmi, Tat Tomasi, and so they have these mantras, right? You keep chanting these. But that is not our process. Our process is that we are servants of God. We are not God, we are servant of God, we are servants of the servants of God, right? So our journey is from Soham to Dasoham. Not I am Das, I am a servant. So Mahaprabhu warns, he says, Jivera Nishtaralagi Sutra Kela Vyas. Vyasadev spoke the Vedanta Sutra for Nishtara, to deliver the conditioned souls. But Mayavad philosophy, based on Sharirak Bhashya, is opposed to the conclusions of Vedanta Sutra. So Mayavad Bhashya sunle hois sarvanash. So if you were to hear the philosophy of Mayavad, everything will be spoiled. So it is so important to associate with those who remind us that we are servants of God, not those people who tell us that we are in control. If we can just find someone who is trying to be a first class servant and we just hold on to their feet, my dear Prabhuji, my dear Mataji, I see you are trying to be a first class servant of Krishna. You're trying to be a first class servant of the devotees of Krishna. Please teach me. Please teach me so that I can also become a servant. That is our process. And because Mathura Brahman did not stop his chanting, he was protected from this impersonal philosophy. And as Ram Navami Prabhu said, because this is the abode of Lord Shiv came in his dream. And Lord Shiv said, don't take sannyas here. As the other sannyasis were telling him, take sannyas, take up this process. Don't take sannyas here. You go to Vrindavan. You go to Vrindavan and all of your desires will be fulfilled. And so this Mathura Brahman leaves Kashi and starts his journey towards Vrindavan. And before he arrives in Vrindavan, he stops over in Prayag. And in Prayag, he meets the Vaishnavas. In Prayag, he sees Vishnu Bhakti. And this is the first time he sees the deity of Lord Vishnu. He sees 4 long, well-built arms, very nice opulent jewelry, very nice beautiful garlands, bluish complexion, beautiful smile, beautiful eyes. And by looking at the deity form of Lord Vishnu, he becomes attracted. I'm sure all of us have that experience here. We see the deity form of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu and we become attracted, right? Lord Nrsimhadev or Lord Ram? Because alaukika roop ras saurabh adi gun. Alaukika roop, because it is uncommon beauty. It is distinguishable beauty. Something like never seen before. Alaukika roop, uncommon beauty. Ras, there are different ras. What is ras? Akhand ras, Prabhu.
It's a mellow.
Ras is mellow. What is
taste? Particular taste.
particular taste? What is taste?
Particular type.
You know, as Akhandas Prabhu is replying, I had envisaged that Prabhu would reply exactly like this. It is mellow, it is taste, and I thought I will go one level further.
It's
What?
interaction between the devotee and Krishna, the way you reciprocate with him.
Very nice. Right?
It's the ability to serve Krishna in his personal form.
Yep.
It is a
Taste is something basically which makes you more attractive towards it.
Yep.
It is emotion.
It is emotion. It is emotion.
A particular type of emotion.
What type of emotion?
What type of emotion? It is surrender, emotion of surrender.
Yes, one can say surrender.
Satisfying.
Love.
Love.
Satisfying emotion.
Satisfying. Yes, satisfying comes closest to where I was trying to get to. You see, the thing is, in Bhakti Shastra, we go up to 19th chapter of Nectar of Devotion. Chapter 20 is called Transcendental Mellows. And in chapter 20, Srila Prabhupada defines what ras means. And Srila Prabhupada defines ras exactly how Akhand Ras Prabhu described it. It is mellow, it is taste, and then there is one extra line which Prabhupada adds. Right? And that line is, the closest we can come to defining ras in this material world is the happiness we derive in performing a particular type of service. Right? So Srila Prabhupada says, it is the happiness you derive. So when Mathura Brahman is taking the darshan of the deities, there's a particular type of happiness. So the emotion that we're trying to get to, or the satisfaction, is the happiness. Very hard to describe, and Srila Prabhupada says, this is the closest we can come to describe the definition of ras in this material world, is the particular type of happiness you derive when you do a particular type of service unto Lord Krishna. So he becomes attracted. Alaukika Rupras Saurabh Adigun. What does Saurabh mean? Smell, fragrance. Right? Mataji is very silent. Correct answer. It is smell. It is fragrance. Very nice fragrance. Adigun. Saurabh Adigun. Other qualities like fragrance. What is the example that we come across in Bhagavatam? Who got attracted by the fragrance?
The Kumaras.
4 Kumaras.
Tulsi leaf.
Tulsi leaf. What is the verse? What is the verse? The verse is so beautiful, right? Tasya Ravinda Nayanasya Padaravinda Kinjal Kamishra Tulasi Makaranda Vayu. It is such a beautiful verse. Vayu, the breeze carried the makarand, the fragrance of tulsi mixed with the lotus feet of the Lord. And that fragrance was so nice, like unlike anything which the 4 Kumaras had ever smelled before. And so, Antargatah Swavivaren Chakarate Sham, it entered their nostrils and then sank Shobham. Sank Shobham means greatly agitated. Shobham means agitate, not Shubham. Shubham means auspicious. Shobham means agitate. Sank Shobham means greatly agitated. They became greatly agitated. What is this? I've never experienced anything like this. Sank Shobham Akshar Jusham Apichit Tanvo. And so they forgot completely about the impersonal form of Krishna and they became attracted to the personal form of Lord Vishnu. That smell was so nice, unlike anything they've experienced. So, Alaukika Rupras Saurabh Adi Gun Karo Man Kona Gun Kare Akarshan. Karo Man, the mind of the devotees, Kona Gun, observes these qualities of the Lord, Kare Akarshan, and becomes attracted. And so in this way, the Mathura Brahman became attracted to Lord Vishnu and he started to spend more time in Prayag. But his journey is not finished yet, because his journey finishes or ends with his meeting with Krishna. So Lord Vishnu comes in his dream and he says, go to Vrindavan, go to Vrindavan now, do not delay any further. And so Mathura Brahman packs up his bags, gets back on the road and goes to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, he arrives there and he is wandering around. He doesn't meet many people. He has very little food. He is always chanting. And in this way, he is spending his time in Vrindavan. Prabhu, aage aa jaiye. Ram Nam Prabhu, aap aage jaiye. And in this way, he is spending time in Vrindavan. One day as he is wandering around, he hears someone else is chanting Krishna's names very nicely, and he becomes attracted to that chanting. Who is this person? And he starts to walk towards the source of the sound. And he arrives at the source of the sound and he meets who? He meets a Vrajvasi, and specifically that Vrajvasi is Gop Kumar. He meets Gop Kumar. Everyone has gone to some another realm. Let's come back. So this is Mathura Brahman meets Gop Kumar. Right? So he goes to the source of the sound. Someone's chanting very nicely, and that person is Gop Kumar. And they meet, and Gop Kumar is very nice, very polite, very courteous to this Mathura Brahman. He welcomes him, makes him sit down, extends all hospitality. How are you? Tell me about your journey. And the way Gop Kumar interacts with Mathura Brahman starts to think that this must be a very wise and saintly person. And he develops enough trust in Gop Kumar to ask him a question. And he says, well, from various different sources I've heard different goals and different methods to achieve them, but still I cannot decide what goal I need to strive for. What should I do to reach it? Do you see the similarities between his question and that of Uttara Devi? Right? What was Uttara Devi's question?
Destinations of those devotees who are not aspiring for liberation.
Yeah.
Where do they end?
Where do I know? And what is this question of Mathura Brahman? What are the different goals as well? So very similar question as well. Agreed? So Gop Kumar thinks, well, to tell him the answers to his questions, I must tell him my own story. And if I tell him my story, all of these questions will be answered. The different goals, the different methods to achieve them, what goal one should strive for, and what does he need to do to reach it. So far so good? It is okay? And so Gop Kumar begins to tell about his journey. And he says, I am actually originally a cowherd boy from Govardhan. And in Govardhan, a saint used to visit there quite often. A Brahman used to visit there, and a Brahman used to wander around, and he was always in meditation of Lord Vishnu or the Lord. And he was always chanting Krishna's names. Sometimes he sang, sometimes he danced, and in this way he spent his time. And all of us, we really like to associate with this Brahman. And I also often did some service unto this Brahman. I gave him some milk, some butter, some yogurt, some curd. And so in this way, I performed some service unto this saint, unto this Brahman. Becoming pleased with me, he gave me this Gopal mantra to chant. And he said that if you chant this mantra, you will achieve all of your desires. It will fulfill all of your desires. And so out of the respect that he had for this Brahman, and out of curiosity what this mantra does, he started chanting this mantra. And very soon he developed an intense desire to see the Lord of the universe and to perform some service unto him. so far?
So, maybe slightly digressing, but the Mathura Brahman actually was aspiring for money, right? Now, did he get frustrated in his journey because nowhere in his journey he got any money?
Yeah.
Logical question.
Yep. Sorry, you're right. And this is not digressing at all, because this is exactly where we are coming next is, but one point I forgot to mention in the middle, that when Mathura Brahman did worship to Lord Vishnu in Prayag, his material desires started to diminish. When he became attracted to Lord Vishnu, his material desires started to diminish. So that is one point which I forgot to mention over there. But you are right, he's still motivated by money. And that is one of the reasons Gop Kumar is sharing this story. Because by sharing this story, one of the underlying commentaries is, and we'll get to, is on money. And we'll get to it. But right now, as Prabhu said, this was exactly the next point. What was the difference in motivation of Mathura Brahman and Gop Kumar? So Mathura Brahman, as Prabhu said, was motivated by wealth. What is Gop Kumar motivated by?
Another thing is Madhura Brahmin also chanting the Gopal mantra.
Huh, yes. Same mantra. Both people chanting same mantra. Gop Kumar is motivated here by Gyan, knowledge. He is very curious. He does not yet know Krishna. All he knows is that there is a Lord of the universe and I want to meet him and I want to perform some service unto him. Right? So, both of them are not yet performing pure devotional service. One is motivated by wealth, one is motivated by knowledge. But in both of their journeys, both of their motivations diminish or reduce. Mathura Brahman experiences Mathura Brahman experiences that his desire for wealth reduces as he continued along in his journey, and Gop Kumar's desire for knowledge also reduces as he continues on with his journey. And with this journey, there is just so much to learn, and it is so nice, and we'll try and cover it. Rachit, come on. Yep, Rachit, come here. So now, Gop Kumar, desiring to learn more about the Lord of the universe, left Govardhan, and he arrived in bank of the Ganga. Now, exactly where this bank of the Ganga is, that has not yet been specified in the book, but it is said he arrives at the bank of the Ganges, and there he meets other Brahmanas. There he meets a Brahman who is worshipping a Shaligram Shila. We discussed in week 1 what is a Shaligram Shila. I know I'm asking a lot.
It's a stone that is a representation of Lord Vishnu.
That is right. It is a stone which is accepted as an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Where does one find these stones?
In Nepal.
Very nice. And it is close to the city of Shaligram. Hence it is called Shaligram Shila. Right? So that is Shaligram. You missed week 1. So Rohan is like that is why it's called Shaligram Shila. Right? So Gop Kumar looks at that and he says, well, what are you doing? What is this? And the worshipper says, well, don't you know? This is the Lord of the universe. I'm worshipping my Lord of the universe. And Gop Kumar, believing the Shaligram Shila to be the Lord of the universe, starts worshipping the Shila. He offers prayers, he offers obeisances, he offers bhog. He spends the entire day with the Shila. At the end of the day, the worshipper, wanting to go home, puts the Shila in a box. And then Gop Kumar becomes confused. What are you doing? Why are you putting the Lord of the universe in a box? This is no place for the Lord of the universe. Plus, you haven't even fed him properly. This small milk that we've given him, that is not enough for the Lord of the universe. What are you doing? And so here we see that Gop Kumar thinks that one has to perform opulent service, a very grand service unto the Lord of the universe. He does not yet have that realization, and he will develop that realization very soon, that Krishna is pleased with very simple things. He does not necessarily need opulent worship. There is, of course, scope for opulent service, but Krishna can be pleased with something very simple. We discussed the learnings from His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj last week. What was that learning? Where Radhanath Maharaj says You can build a temple for Krishna, and that is very nice, right? Or you can offer a small flower, and that is also very nice. Perhaps even nicer. It just depends on the intent with which you offered it. So all that matters is the intent with which we've offered it. All that is required is love. Love stands above all. You see, one of the reasons for the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to distribute this love. Cheer kal nahi kari prem bhakti daan. Krishna says, cheer kal nahi kari prem bhakti daan. For a long time, cheer kal, I have not done prem bhakti daan. I have not given prem bhakti to the residents of this material world. And bhakti vina jagat tere nahi avasthan. And if there is no bhakti in this material world, what is the purpose of this material world? What is the purpose of this material world if it is not to facilitate bhakti? So the key ingredient in our service is love, not necessarily how opulent that is. You see, one can make a very simple dal and put salt in it, or one can make a very expensive paneer sabji and forget to put salt in it. Which item are you going to like more? The very expensive sabji or the simple dal? Dal. If you were to say paneer sabji, I would know that you're just trying to be silly, right? No, there is no flavor in it. You're not going to like it. So no matter how much opulent service one can do, if there's no flavor in it, one doesn't enjoy it. And so the flavor that Krishna likes in our service is love, prem, our intent. So anyways, the worshipper says, well, I'm a very poor man. This is the best I can do. I cannot really do anything more. If you want to see more opulent worship, go to the capital city of this kingdom. There, the king is a Vaishnava, the king is a devotee, and that king does very nice worship. So you go there, you meet him, you will be satisfied. And so Gop Kumar goes to this capital city. And Gop Kumar sees that there is a deity of Lord Vishnu here. And so every place he goes, he sees some form of the Lord. Before he saw Shaligram Shila, now he sees the deity of Lord Vishnu. And he is very happy that the deity is being worshipped very nicely. He thinks he has found the Lord of the universe. And he is very happy. So he developed great eagerness to worship Lord Vishnu. His character was so good that the king, who had no son, decided to adopt him. And soon the king passed away and Gop Kumar became king of that kingdom. Now as king, he improved the worship everywhere. He improved the distribution of prasad. He did everything in his power to make the life of the devotees and the service of the devotees as good as possible. But despite that, he was still not really happy, because there were various factors which were influencing his unhappiness. He was always afraid that some other king from another kingdom could attack at any point in time and spoil everything. He was being brought into a lot of economic, political affairs, and he was saying, well, I don't want to do any of this. All I want to do is just worship my dear Lord Vishnu. I don't want to do any of this. So in this way, he was not very happy. And these aspects were interfering with his happiness. You see, this is one of the repetitive features of part 2. Gop Kumar goes to one place. He is promoted to the highest position available in that place. In one way, he has access to all the power and money that place has to offer. But despite that, he is not happy. And so one of the lessons which Gop Kumar is trying to give to this Mathura Brahman is that if your goal is to acquire wealth and power, and this comes back to the point which Hari Gopal Prabhu said, this is the underlying commentary which Gop Kumar is trying to tell Mathura Brahman. In every place I went, I was promoted to the highest position. I also improved the worship of Lord Vishnu everywhere I went. But still, despite that, I was not very happy. Because of the various problems which existed in those places. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we come across a conversation between Brhad Maharaj and a Brahman. I believe that is the 13th chapter of the 7th canto. And in that conversation, the Brahman says to Prahlad Maharaj that a person who is accumulating money is afraid all the time that they might lose their money anytime. And that Brahma says that there are 8 different types of factors which affect how one can lose money. I will ask this at the end, so please. Rajata Chaurata Shatru. Rajata means the government. The government will take taxes. We have a few devotees here who work in the tax office. The government will take taxes. See, half the deterrent for getting a promotion is that half my salary will go to tax. A lot of people say, devotees are not necessarily aspiring for more senior positions. Well, half the salary from promotion will go to tax. But the effort will be triple. So, Rajataha, the government will take taxes. Chaurata means? Thief. So, if the government doesn't take it, some thief will take it. Rajata Chaurata Shatru. Shatru is? Enemy. An enemy will take it. Rajata Chaurata Shatru Swajana. Swajana, who? Family members. And Pashu Pakshataha. So family members will say, oh, my son needs to go to here, my daughter needs to go there, they are getting married, can you please give me some money? Right? So family members might ask, Pashu Pakshata, some animals, I might be attacked by an animal, I might lose my life, right? Arthabhya. Arthabhya means someone who is begging, someone who is asking for charity, someone might come, please, I don't have anything, give me some money. Arthabhya Kalataha. Kalata means time. Time factor will take it away. And lastly, Swasman. I myself might lose my money. These cases are actually very true. When someone becomes very old, they forget how currency works. They forget how it works. There are examples, even in the extended family of my very own self, I've seen people who become very old, they're living by themselves. Their housemaids will come and they will say, give me 5,000. The old person thinking that he's giving 5,000 gives 15,000. And he says, or she says, is that right? Have I given you 5,000? And they say, oh yes, that is right. This is 5,000. And they'll take the 15 and they'll go away. So Swasman, even our memory can fail us anytime and we can lose our money. Right? And so Nityam Prana Artha Bhaya Bhayam. Pran Arthavad Bhayam. Nityam. And so always a person who's trying to accumulate money is afraid of these 8 factors. What are the 8 factors very quickly?
First is government, taxes.
Rajata. It will be very hard for me to keep track.
Family members, thieves.
Time.
Alright, first Rajata, Chaurata, Shatru, Sharjana. Very nice. Arthabhya. And Kalada. And then own self. Yeah. So these 8 factors. Right? So this Brahman says there are these 8 factors which can influence one losing money. So there is one thing I have learned from a bumblebee. What I have learned from a bumblebee? Viragah sarva kamebhyo shikshito me madhuvratat. Madhuvratat, a bumblebee has taught me an important shiksha. What is that shiksha? Viragah sarva kamebhyo. Be detached from accumulating money. How has that bumblebee taught me that? How has that bee taught me that? Krich raptam madhuvat vittam. With great difficulty, krich raptam, with great difficulty, a bee is acquiring honey by going from one flower to another flower, coming back to the honeycomb. In the same difficulty, a person is acquiring money, going to the office every day, coming back home, trying to ensure their expenses are just in the right way so that enough can go into savings. With great difficulty, a person sort of saves money, accumulates money. And then, Hanta ve anya harit patam. Anyone can come at any point in time and just cut that honeycomb and take all of that honey away. Similarly, any of these 8 factors can come into our lives at any point in time and take some money away. So nothing in life is guaranteed. So this is an underlying commentary which Gop Kumar is trying to tell to Mathura Brahma that if your motivation is wealth and power, let me tell you with my own experience, it does not help you. Right? Who is the smartest person? A smart person is someone who learns from the experience of others. That is a smart person. So in this way he was unhappy. And one day some devotees from Jagannath Puri arrived in that capital city. And those devotees from Jagannath Puri said, well, in Jagannath Puri, Lord Jagannath himself rules the entire kingdom. He performs various intimate pastimes with his devotees. And not to mention, there is infinite Mahaprasad over there. So everyone is super happy over there. So this Brahman, thinking he'll find more happiness at Jagannath Puri, he will be free from all of this ruling the kingdom and everything, he goes to Jagannath Puri. And Gop Kumar arrives in Jagannath Puri and he sees the deities and he becomes attracted to Lord Jagannath. He says, now I have seen the Lord of my universe. And in his sort of ecstasy, he starts to approach the deities. What happens when you approach the Jagannath deities? The two guys standing there, they take their stick and they hit him. What are you doing? Maintain some distance. Don't go too near the Jagannath deities. Right? Everyone can relate to it. The guards standing. Everyone is more afraid of the guards in Jagannath Puri. Right? It's like they take the stick and they hit him. And so Gop Kumar, even though he was slightly disappointed that he could not sort of touch the deities, he accepted that there is some plan of the Lord and he went outside to get some Mahaprasad. So in this way, Gop Kumar spends some time in Puri and he enjoys all the activities there and he's happy for some time over there. Then again, after some time, he developed that urge to again have some intimate pastimes with Lord Jagannath. And he would notice that Jagannath is performing more intimate pastimes with his servants. But every time Gop Kumar would try and approach him, again Jagannath would become very serious, trying to imply that, you're not ready yet to enter my pastimes. So why is that the case? Why would Lord Jagannath not bring him inside his personal pastimes? Yes, because it is not the right time yet, right? So Jagannath sort of knows that even though I see that you're trying to have a very pure desire, Jagannath knows that it is not right time yet. You're not fully surrendered to me just yet. And see, this is one of the key points from this segment of Gop Kumar. Sorry, I do acknowledge I'm not sort of saying the learnings, this is first learning, second learning, third learning. The learnings are all over the place. But at the end, when we try and summarize, we will bring a structure to all the learnings. So at the moment, I'm sort of sharing all the different learnings. But at the end, we'll try and bring some structure to it. But one of the key learnings in this segment of Gop Kumar is that sometimes we may have desires and those desires may be of devotional nature, but it looks like they won't be fulfilled. And in those moments, we have to realize that it is the engineering of Krishna to steer us into a different direction. We may have certain desires, they may be devotional of nature, it doesn't look like they will be fulfilled, and in those moments, it is important to note this is engineering of Krishna. This is one of the key points. You see, Gop Kumar could have complained. Why not? But he didn't. He sort of accepted it. One has to constantly remind themselves that Krishna has a plan. You see, Bhishma Dev says to Yudhishthir Maharaj, Nahi asya karhichid rajan, puman veda vidhitsitam. He says, vidhitsitam? Krishna's plan? Nahi asya, who knows? Who knows what Krishna's plan is? Right? Yad vigya sayo yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. Great sages, kavayo, are constantly trying to vigya sayo, contemplate on Krishna's plan, but they are constantly muhyanti, they are constantly bewildered. Who knows what Krishna's plan is? See, there are so many pastimes we come across in our studies which show that Krishna's plan can be different to his devotees. Arjun did not want to Sorry, I should have asked. What are some of the examples? What are some of the examples where devotee's plan is one, Krishna's plan is something else?
And then
Prahlad Maharaj as well. Yeah. How Prahlad Maharaj?
because he has to go through so much trouble to
Yes.
so much of tests to go closer to Lord to have his
Yeah.
personal
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Dhruv Maharaj,
Dhruv Maharaj.
you wanted to get kingdom, but they became devotee.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so many examples. Arjun wanted to fight. Arjun did not want to fight. Krishna wanted him to fight. Arjun fought. Right? Balram did not want Arjun to marry Subhadra. Arjun kidnapped Subhadra. Krishna was okay with it. Balram accepted it. So many times there are so many examples where a devotee wants something, Krishna wants something else, and devotee goes, okay, Baba, tumhai chalegi. I accept whatever you want. Right? So a key symptom of how one is advancing in Krishna consciousness is how quickly one pivots from what their expectation is to what Krishna's plan is, what the reality is. How quickly one pivots. How long are you going to carry this with you? I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but Krishna is not allowing me. And you shorten that gap. No, not in 10 days, not in 5 days. Right now I will pivot. This is my plan. It is not happening. This is Krishna's plan. I will just attune to it. I will adjust. So how quickly a person pivots. You see, we see this so many times in the life of Srila Prabhupada, and particularly more so in the time when Srila Prabhupada was in Jhansi. In 1952, Srila Prabhupada arrived in Jhansi, and Srila Prabhupada was really interested in establishing the League of Devotees. He was particularly very attached to that project. He spent 2 years over there. He also received a lot of verbal support from everyone in Jhansi, but nobody was willing to provide financial support. And with no financial support, Srila Prabhupada could not stay in Jhansi much longer. And that was very painful and emotional experience for Srila Prabhupada. But Srila Prabhupada accepted it. He accepted it that there is Krishna's plan. There must be a different plan. And so we look at that and we take inspiration from that particular episode of Srila Prabhupada as well. And of course, many things happened. There were failures in Bombay, Kanpur, Delhi, and so forth. Until the point in time, Srila Prabhupada was able to come to America. But every time Srila Prabhupada said, no, there must be a plan. There must be a plan. See, we may not have so much resilience to take so many setbacks. Some people do, and those who do have the resilience to take setbacks, Krishna gives them more problems. But those who don't have enough resilience, Krishna gives them less problems. But in every moment, something is Krishna's plan. See, a devotee is always thinking about Krishna's happiness. Mahaprabhu says, and this is such a nice verse, Na gani apna dukh, sabe vancha tanra sukha amara tatparyam. Na gani apna dukh, my unhappiness, my distress, I don't really care about it. Sabe vanchi tanra sukh, I care about your happiness. Tanra sukh amara tatparya. My goal, my ultimate aim is your happiness. Are you happy? If you're not happy, can I do something to make you happy? Moreya didiya dukh, tanra haile maha sukh, say dukh mora sukha varyam. If you give me dukh, but you are sukh, you are sukhi. If you give me dukh and you are sukhi, then that unhappiness for me, my dear Lord, is actually happiness for me. That unhappiness is happiness for me. So Mahaprabhu says, right? So we see in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, from the teachings of Mahaprabhu, how deep one's love for Krishna can be. Adbhut nigudha prem madhurya mahima. Adbhut nigudha prem. That prem is adbhut, it is wonderful, and nighud. Nighud means? नहीं हिंदी वाले deep, very deep. That is very wonderful. Nighud, it is very deep, very deep. And so, Apani Aswadi Prabhu and Mahaprabhu, by tasting it, Dikhaili Seema, he showed how, to what extent that love for Krishna can go. And there's no limit to it. Yeah. So in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we see what is the limit of Krishna Prem. So anyways, even though Gop Kumar slightly unhappy, he understood that this is the plan of Jagannath, that I will not get an opportunity to do some personal service unto him. And so he leaves Puri and he arrives back in Vrindavan. So far so good? Is it okay? Any clarifications? No. He arrives back in Vrindavan, and in Vrindavan again he is wandering around. And he is wandering around, he hears some people talk about that there is a planet above this planet, and there personal service to Lord Vishnu is being performed. What is that planet? You've gone too far ahead. Swarglok. He hears about Swarglok. Everyone here is a Vaikuntha, more familiar with Vaikuntha than Swarg. That is why I covered all of this in one slide. Because the devotees are not interested in talking about this. So he is about Swarglok. And they say their personal service to Lord Vishnu is being performed. Not in a deity form, but personal service. And so desiring to go to Swarglok, Gopkumar started to chant intensely. And because of the purity of his chanting, an airplane arrived. And that airplane took him to Swarglok. And in Swarglok, who did he see? Who is in Swarglok? Sorry. How is Lord Vishnu is in Swarglok? He did see Indra. But how is Lord Vishnu in Swarglok?
He's lying down.
He's lying down somewhere else. 8th canto? Huh?
Standing in the 400.
He's there in the 400 form as well. But 8th canto? Bali Maharaj pastime? Vamandev. So Vamandev is born to Aditi. Right? So where does Aditi live? Swarglok. Yeah. Her sons are demigods, right? Yeah. So he sees Vamandev, right? And yes, that is right. Vamandev also, sort of Lord Vishnu also shows his hand form over there as well. Prabhu is right. But anyways, for the purpose of our session today, let's say he saw Vamandev, and he is again very happy, very pleased. Oh, I was able to see the Lord personally over here. Of course, Vamandev is not always there, but he is there. So again, he became happy. He starts to perform some service. Now, because Indra makes a mistake, he commits an offense, Indra has to flee Swarglok. And because Gopkumar has such good character, he is promoted to the position of Indra. And again, in position of Indra, he sort of improves the worship of Lord Vishnu everywhere. Wherever his sort of capabilities are, he sort of improves that. But again, he is not happy in Swarglok. Why is he not happy in Swarglok?
Always fear that the demons will attack.
Yes, there is fear that demons will attack. And there's always some sort of fighting happening. There's always so much quarreling happening between the demigods. Everyone is envious of each other as well in Swarglok. Hemang Chaitanya Prabhu was explaining in Vaishnav Satsang on Friday evening how everyone is comparing their positions in Swarglok with someone else's positions. I have such a big car. Yep. He has a bigger car. I want that big of a car. There's so much quarreling happening in Swarglok. So Gopkumar realizes that firstly, Vamandev is not here all the time. He leaves sometimes. And also that this is not the best place to perform worship. This is not a place for mode of goodness necessarily. There's a lot of envy here. How can I perform exclusive service to the Lord of the universe here? This is not the best place for Lord of the universe. Right? Logically, how can the best place be where there is so much fighting going on? Agreed? So anyways, he is not happy. Someday he sees some sages arrive in Swarglok, and those sages looked even more beautiful than the residents of Swarglok. And they see those sages talk to Brihaspati, and he asks, Brihaspati is the guru of the demigods, right? So he asked Brihaspati that, well, who are these sages? And Brihaspati says, well, these sages come from a planet higher than this. And only those who are free from all material desires, only they go to that planet. And what is that planet? Before Tapalok? Before Janalok? Mahalok. We get there. We get there. Very nice. Just so that planet is Mahalok. And in Mahalok, what are they doing? Constant yagyas, sacrifices, And so Gop Kumar develops an intense desire to go to Mahalok, and he starts to chant, and an airplane arrives, and that airplane takes him to Mahalok. And in Mahalok, he sees there is a great sacrificial fire. In the middle of that fire, there is Lord Vishnu. And specifically, what is the name of the form of Lord Vishnu in sacrificial fire? Yagyeshwar. So he sees Yagyeshwar. And again, he is very happy. Well, there's no fighting here, no envy over here. Everyone is performing sacrifices. And he starts to sort of enjoy his time there. But again, some time comes and he becomes slightly unhappy. Why does he become unhappy over here? Because there are only yagyas being performed over there. There's no scope to perform chanting. And he is now quite attached to chant. And he is sort of told that, well, here you should just perform yagyas. Don't worry about chanting. And again, Gop Kumar is not so happy. So one day, Gop Kumar sees that Sanat Kumar has arrived. And all the sages in Mahalok are worshipping him, offering him prayers, obeisances. And he asks the residents, well, who is this personality? And they say, well, he's Sanat Kumar. And he's from the planet Tapalok. He's from the planet Tapalok. And how do you get to Tapalok? With unbroken celibacy. With intense austerities, unbroken celibacy, one gets to Tapalok. And there, one can meditate on Lord Vishnu. There's no sacrificial fires happening, but you can chant, you can meditate. And Gop Kumar, desiring to go to Tapalok, chants on his beads, an airplane arrives, and he goes to Tapalok. And who does he see over there as Lord Vishnu? There is no personal form in Tapalok. Lord Vishnu is being worshipped as Paramatma over there. Everyone is constantly meditating, seeing Paramatma within their heart. There is no personal form of the Lord over there. And so for some time he is happy, not for a long time. And again he is not happy because he cannot perform any personal service to the Lord. There's only meditation happening. And again he becomes unhappy. So sometime later, someone else comes. Who comes this time? Lord Brahma comes. Lord Brahma comes, and all the residents of Tapalok, the four Kumaras, are worshipping Lord Brahma. And he says, well, who is this personality? Well, this is Lord Brahma. He comes from another planet. What planet is that? Satyalok. He comes from Satyalok. And there you can see Lord Vishnu personally. Right? You can serve Lord Vishnu personally. And again, Gop Kumar becomes very excited, starts to chant in his mantra, and an airplane arrives. That airplane takes him to Satyalok. And in Satyalok, who does he see?
Actually, the line of
so he sees Lord Vishnu. Yeah, he sees Lord Vishnu, right? Lord Vishnu is there in Brahmalok, right? And he sees the Lord Vishnu. And again he becomes very happy. Oh, well, I can here chant as well and perform some personal service as well. But after some time, he becomes unhappy. And why does he become unhappy? Because, before we get there, he performs such nice service, and one day Lord Brahma makes a mistake. He touches a foam, as it is said in Brhad Bhagavatamrta. That foam becomes a demon, and in fear of that demon, Brahma flees away. And Gopkumar becomes Brahma. And he becomes Brahma, again, he sort of increases the worship of Lord Vishnu all over the three worlds. He does everything he can. But after some time, as Lord Brahma, again, he sort of loses happiness, loses interest, because he's too busy managing the universe. And again, he cannot again do the personal, intimate service that he wants to do. So, in this way, Gopkumar is slightly unsatisfied. One day he is there, and he hears some people talk about someone being liberated. And he becomes excited. What is this liberation? And that person says, well, in liberation, you escape the cycle of birth and death. So, Gopkumar says, well, what place is that? And they say that place is called Mahakalpura. Mahakalpura is the place where people who get Sayuj Mukti go, the abode of liberation. And so he asks, well, what is Sayuj Mukti? And he goes, you merge with Krishna. And Gopkumar says, well, I don't want to merge with Krishna. I want to do some service. And they say, well, you go there anyway. Lord Vishnu says in Satyaloka, you go there anyway, and from there you will know what else you need to do. And don't worry, I will ensure you don't merge with the impersonal over there. And so again, chanting in his beads, he arrives in Mahakalpura. In Mahakalpura, he sees Brahmajyoti. Lord Vishnu in the form of as effulgent as 10 million suns, as we sort of study it. And he is very afraid over there, because he doesn't want to merge into the impersonal. He wants to perform some personal service. But in Mahakalpura, he meets the Vaikuntha Dutas. He meets the residents of Vaikuntha. And residents of Vaikuntha tell him how he can come to Vaikuntha. Now here is where he learns giving up Gyan, and he learns about performing devotional service unto Lord Vishnu, so he can enter Vaikuntha. Up until now, Gyan could only take him up until Brahmalok. Now he is being advised what he needs to do to enter Vaikuntha. And so these three are very important learnings. First, they say is you give up this attachment to formal chanting. Don't chant formally. What you need to do is become attached to the name itself. Chant loudly, sing loudly, Govind, Gopal, Krishna. Become attached to the name itself. Don't be attached to the activity of chanting. Chant constantly. Don't chant too formally. That is the first thing they say. Then they say, hear regularly the pastimes of Krishna. So they say, read Bhagavatam, listen to Bhagavatam. By hearing, one develops love for Krishna. See, up until now, he was not hearing Bhagavatam or reading Bhagavatam. So there was no concept of developing love. How can you develop love for someone who you don't even hear about? Why is hearing so much emphasized upon? Because when you hear the qualities, and so you learn, well, what is this person all about? Why do I need to love this person? And then they say, you perform service in any one of the 9 limbs. Shravana Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhimat Nivedanam. And so this is the teachings of the Vaikuntha Dutas to Gopkumar. And so Gopkumar goes back to Vrindavan, and now he goes back to Vrindavan, he's trying to practice devotional service. He's trying to develop love towards Lord Vishnu, love towards Lord Krishna. So the Vaikuntha Dutas say, a person who doesn't have love, they only get so far. They only get so far as to Mahakalpura. The prerequisite to getting into Vaikuntha is love. The prerequisite is having some attachment to Lord Vishnu in his personal form. So what we will do is, we will stop here, we'll go into summary, but we will now enter Vaikuntha next week. And we will discuss Vaikuntha, the journey from Vaikuntha to Golok Vrindavan next week. And just before we finish, we will do a quick summary. So, just before we do summary, any clarifications? Any questions, any doubts?
So, did he come back from where he started and did all this? So, Gopakumara, now he's come to Mahakalpur and then he's getting this knowledge. So, did he perform this thing in Mahakalpur or he came back
To Vrindavan.
and then he started?
Yeah, he comes back to Vrindavan. So he comes back to Vrindavan quite often. So after also Brahmaloka, he comes back to Vrindavan, then he goes to Mahakalpura. And then he comes back again to Vrindavan, and then he's going to go to Vaikuntha. But now he's going to come to Vrindavan back after a long time. After he goes to Golok, he's going to come back to Vrindavan, and then we're going to call Vrindavan Gokul. See, the difference between Golok and Gokul is Vrindavan in the spiritual world and Gokul is Vrindavan in the material world. So then the name of Vrindavan changes to Gokul. Up until now he cannot see Gokul. Up until now he's seeing Vrindavan as a city. Right? After he sees Golok, he sees Vrindavan as non-different from Golok. And so that becomes Gokul. But that is a realization for next week.